Awareness Month, and joining us is Sam Stiles, the Community Outreach Coordinator for End Violent Encounters, or EVE. Sam, thanks so much for taking time out.
Absolutely, Bob. Thank you so much for having me.
So, Epiphany Now is all about celebrating good news. And we're going to find out what EVE does because you do some incredible work in our community. But let's start out by telling everyone what End Violent Encounters is.
Yeah, absolutely. So End Violent Encounters is a nonprofit. We're a service provider for survivors of sexual and domestic violence. And we offer a wide variety of services. We offer emergency shelter, counseling, advocacy. We run the PPO office downtown. Really kind of whatever survivor needs there are, we do our best to meet those in the community.
How many people do you help annually?
Um, from our various different services, we help hundreds to thousands of survivors annually. I know last year we were able to provide over 14 hours of free and confidential counseling. We provided hundreds of survivors with advocacy. We served over 1,500 PPOs, and we provided over 7,000 nights of safe shelter to various people and families.
Sam, could you share with us some of the good news that you see that happens with EVE?
Yeah, absolutely. Even during these trying times, we've seen a lot of really great things happen in our community. Like you said, it is Sexual Assault Awareness Month this April, and we have seen such a huge outpour of support on our social media pages for survivors of sexual assault. Just people offering their support and words of encouragement and words of hope, and that has been really heartwarming for us. We've also seen an increase in donations. Obviously, there's been a lot of shortages for various items all over the city, things like toilet paper, hand sanitizer, but we've also seen community members, businesses, our community partners really step up to help us meet some of those needs.
How has COVID-19 impacted EVE?
Yeah, so that's kind of twofold. So typically, in situations where there are crisis or disaster, you do see an uptick in domestic violence. That is true for a pandemic as well, and there have been trends in Italy, in France, and even New York now, where they're starting to see that spike in domestic violence. So, that makes our job that much more difficult. But then because of our stay-at-home order, which is absolutely necessary for our community right now, but that provides abusers who, are living with these survivors a greater access to them. And whereas before they could maybe go to a friend's house or, even grocery shopping or to the library or what have you for a break from that violence, for a moment of safety, now they're unable to do so.
Now, do you help women and men?
Absolutely, yes. We like to say, like, if you're a human, we help you. Teens, men, women, non-binary folks, yeah, anyone who needs help, anyone who is a survivor, we absolutely will help.
And I know that you have a 24-hour hotline, a crisis number, which we have scrolling on our screen. You also have a website, which is a chat line, free and confidential. We've got that scrolling on our screen. You also deal with abuse later in life, and you have children's services too. So maybe talk about all the services that you offer.
Yeah, absolutely. We have an advocate who helps senior citizens when they're experiencing abuse later in life, like you said. Sometimes that's maybe a family member taking advantage, or even a caretaker taking advantage of somebody later in their life. We have various children's programs. I think something a lot of people don't realize is that when we have people come stay in our emergency shelter, it's not often just single people. It's usually a family we have come stay, seeking refuge at our shelters. So we have various programs for the children in the shelter. When we have counseling support groups, we have free childcare for anyone who needs to attend those support groups. And we just try to make it as enriching as possible for the kids who, unfortunately have also been been affected by domestic violence in their home.
I'm sure there's people out there watching thinking, I'd like to help. I may not have the financial resources to help, but what can I do? Or maybe I do have the financial resources. What can people do to help you?
Yeah, absolutely. If somebody has the financial resources to help us at this time, our website that's scrolling down at the bottom there, that www.eveinc.org, there's an online donation option there. You're absolutely always welcome to make a donation. No donation, big or small, is ever going to be refused. But for people who don't have the financial means to donate right now, it's small steps. Things like, sharing our posts on social media, creating your own posts on social media, letting survivors in our community know that they are safe and valued and accepted right here in Lansing. And I think that is a way that people can support survivors. That might be a very small act, but it has such a huge impact.
And Sam, I know you've seen firsthand the power of Eve and how it has transformed lives.
Yeah. I have. One of my favorite parts of my job is sometimes when I'm out in the community, I've had strangers come up to me and just give me a hug and say, I used Eve's services and it saved my life. There's really nothing like that moment.
Well, thank you, Sam, and thank you to Eve for everything that you do. We've got your information on the screen. Of course, we'll share this, and we encourage everyone to share this post on your social media. And also like the Epiphany Now Facebook group to share your good news. We're trying to be this community outlet where people can go to find the good that's happening in our community and also the resources that are in our community. So, Sam, thanks. Keep up the good work.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Bob.
All right.